What the one coming right now, September 30th, government runs out of funding. You've got people like Rand Paul and Ted Cruz, other Republicans, Marco Rubio, saying unless Obamacare is defunded, then we shouldn't approve the government funding. President Obama took that on Friday.
My friends in the other party have made the idea of preventing these people from getting health care their holy grail, their number one priority. The one unifying principle.
That was the only thing that seemed to get the president really riled up on Friday. George Will says it's an ideological fixation. How does it play out? Do you believe that faction inside the Republican Party is going to succeed in pushing their leaders to hold the line?
Boy, that's a false narrative. He said that we're trying to keep people from having health care. That's just not true. That is an absolute blatant lie. We are not trying to keep anybody from getting health care, and whether or not they have insurance under an exchange or not does not prevent people from getting health care.
Want to take that on?
Well, sure. The fact is you have millions and millions of Americans that can't afford health insurance. Obamacare is helping people get health insurance. Republicans have offered no other solutions or plans
at this point. Of them,
but at this point, Louie, it's just ideology. It's just extreme ideology.
So I've got to the point of does the government shut down on September 30th?
Well, the congressman says that's a lie. Remember what Mark Twain said, the difference between a lie and a cat is a cat only has 9 lives? The fact is that this president has the power, particularly when it's supported as this one is by the mainstream media, to set the narrative. And the narrative will be that the Republicans have chosen simply to cause chaos. And I think it's a bad idea.
Bad idea to go down the line.
You cannot govern this country from one half of one of our 3 branches of government. Can't be done.
It appears, Donna, that the Speaker of the House, John Boehner, probably agrees with that as well. Mitt Romney came out this week, one of his few public speeches since leaving, warning Republicans about being accused of shutting down the government.
Well, look, Mitt Romney, of course, Romney cares, Obamacare. They're not, they're not what I call distant relatives, but they might be, kissing cousins. But he came out in support of John McCain and others who believe that this is a foolish idea to try to shut the government down. And, of course, many of the veterans of previous government shutdowns, Newt Gingrich and others, are also, speaking out as well.
So what's going to happen?
Well, I don't know, but I do think that even though we're one half of the legislating body from which no spending occurs unless we agree, that is a position that allows us to force others to adhere to the Constitution. We don't have to wait for the Supreme Court. We can force that. And we can say, you're going to abide by the Constitution, whether the Supreme Court gets it wrong or right. We have the ability to force respect for the law, and some of us think that we ought to force them to do that.
Do you think you have the votes to defund Obamacare? It doesn't appear like that.
Not right now, but we'll see after August, after people go home. And as far as Obamacare, though, when the president himself says it's not ready, so I'm giving this break to all big business, what about the poor guy out there making $14,000? He's going to pay extra income tax if he cannot afford to pay the several $1,000s for an Obamacare policy. Who's caring about him? Well, a lot of us do, but it's not this president because he didn't let the individual mandate have a year off. That only goes to big business. That's not fair.
Well, I would say, first of all, it is the law of the land. The Congress passed it, the president signed it, and a conservative Supreme Court upheld it, Louie. I mean, it is the law of the land.
So how does he get to delay a year for just rewrite and say we're going to delay it for a year?
The problem is that the House Republicans, all due respect, I'm a former Hill staffer, not a member, of course, but they cannot even agree among themselves with spending. I mean, just before the recess, they couldn't even pass a transportation HUD bill. I mean, I don't understand the Republican Party these days. I mean, they've set these budgetary goals, and they're afraid to meet them.
No, we're not afraid to meet them, but Donna, you need to also remember, and I think Lyndon Johnson said it, that if 2 people agree on everything, one of them's unnecessary. It's good to have a good disagreement. That's how we got to the Constitution.